Well, hello. I believe we may be live. I'm checking things out to see. All right, I will move on like we are live. Hello, welcome to REALations.
Offer custom
This
laser engraving services for a variety of products, including promotional items and corporate or personal gifts. With state-of-the-art equipment and a team of skilled designers, we can engrave intricate designs on virtually any material. Whether it's a special message, a company logo, or a custom design, Romika Laser Engraving will help you make your mark. And the best part, our prices are affordable and our turnaround time is quick.
I couldn't be happier with the work Romika Laser Engraving did for me. The engraving on my product was precise and exactly what I wanted.
So don't wait any longer to add a personal touch to your products. Call Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs today at 817-400-4040 or visit our website at romikadesigns.com. We look forward to helping you make your mark.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
Hello, and welcome to REALations, where we talk respect, engage, ask, and listen. Tonight is a special night because you have the opportunity to get real and raw with me, your host, Elena Rodriguez. I am the CEO and founder of Besitos Beauty. We are a cosmetics line that focuses solely on lipstick. And so tonight I am calling this Tipsy Lips. And why? Because I want you to get comfortable. I want you to feel casual. Grab a cocktail, grab a tea, grab a water, get comfy, and we are going to talk real relationships. There is much to be said with relationships, especially for singles over 40, but not only singles over 40, but just rebuilding relationships as we reach that next level of maturity, let's say, where we've been there, done that, where that dream that maybe we set out to build when we were in our 20s kind of didn't go as planned, and we've got some years of life experience on us. And so I'm going to be talking about specific topics that I really want to engage conversation. So if you are listening, please feel free to drop a comment so we can talk about it, or even feel free to ask a question so that we can really dive into that. So let's get started. One of the main things that I run into quite often is people crave truth and people crave honesty. You hear that across the board. People want to be able to trust each other. So that comes through truth and that comes with being honest. But yet, there are many times where the more truthful you are, the more honest, let's just say raw and real out the gate, that can be met with even a little bit of judgment. It is so rare nowadays to genuinely say it like it is, to genuinely tell the truth without any repercussion of judgment coming at you, that when people come out with truth, it's not well received. We don't know how to receive honest truth. So how do we get past that? How do we get past that fear of judgment? How do we get past that fear of rejection? Because that's where it all stems from. There have been times you've been honest, and it wasn't received. You were rejected. So moving forward, you're thinking, well, I can't do that again. I don't want to risk being rejected. I don't want to risk being embarrassed. But yet we claim we want honesty and truth. So there's a real mix of communication here. And if you have ever found yourself in that situation, especially when you're starting a new relationship, you're full of questions, right? You're full of wanting to know so much. You're being asked so much. And there are times where your gauge, your radar goes up. Like, gosh, how much do I share? How much do I really share right off the bat? Because in the past, you either shared too much and it was not received well, or you shared too little and didn't really establish a genuine connection. So how do you gauge that? Where do you begin to know how much honesty, how much truth to share up front? Well, all I can say, hello, Charles, aloha. Charles is tuning in from Hawaii. All I can say is for you, it's imperative for you to begin to know your truth. You know, for years, I've coached women on relationships. I've coached women on how to strengthen connection. I know that we focus on communication so much, and communication is a piece of a strong connection, but it's only a piece. And so through those years, we talk about what is your truth? What do you want? Because until you can openly claim it, state it out loud, say it on purpose, until you can get there yourself and not be ashamed of what you want, not be embarrassed by what you want, until you can do that for yourself, will you ever be able to confidently answer those questions for someone else? And Charles says all of it from the beginning. Absolutely. And we'll get into that conversation here in just a bit. So that's a big piece of it. People are out there walking on eggshells. They're desiring companionship. They want relationships. They want friendships. They want that safe place. But yet, because of the pains of the past, because of the rejections, the judgments, the refusals, the denials, the embarrassments, the ego getting bruised, all of those negative pieces, those can leave a mark. But it's so important to look at those marks for the beauty that they carry, because they carry lessons. They carry little pieces of clarity when it comes to who you are and who you can become forward. And that's the thing to remember. You have a new start every single morning that your God wakes you up. It's a reset. It's a let's go again. Let's wipe that board clean and rewrite the plan. You get that opportunity every single day. So if those marks, if those bruises, if those scars of yesterday are keeping you afraid of speaking your truth, are keeping you afraid of sharing the things that are truly honest, then I got one thing to say to you tonight, my friend. And that is, you are blocking the blessing that you are to someone else. And that is why so many relationships that are desired today are not being connected. They're not making that like the magnet that's reaching each other out of fear, simply out of fear. And God says there's only two true emotions: fear and love. That's it. You're either in fear or you're in love. Anything else falls in between. So if you're afraid to be honest, if you're afraid to tell your truth, if you're afraid to reach out for rejection, in those moments, you're not truly walking in God's love. You're not truly walking in God's love. So what is there to really be afraid of? What shame is there in sharing your truth? So I want you to think about that tonight. It was months ago, I started a group, and we are on Facebook. Our group is called REALations. You can find us. You're welcome to join us. It's really simple, REALations group. And there we are. But I started this conversation because it was at that time that God said to me, he whispered to me, these are things that need spoken about. These are things that are holding people back. These are the things that are keeping people alone when all they truly desire is someone to share time, love, joy, laughter, all of it with. So these messages that I'm sharing with you tonight's a special night. Tonight I had a guest who was not able to join us. And so I know that God has this message for me to share tonight because he opened up the platform for me to do that. So we're going to talk about that fear and how everyone wants to make these solo moves. And I'm in that boat as well. I've got solo moves I'm making. I've got goals, I've got dreams, I've got visions, I've got plans, I know where I'm going. And I said that for years. I'm good. I'm good on my own. I know what I want. I know what I'm doing. I know how I'm going to get there. I know what I need to do every day. So it's time to really ask yourself, if you say you desire a relationship, are you truly willing to reroute that solo move that you had in line? Because so often everybody wants to stay moving in that solo path, that plan that they have written out, that journey that they feel is paved forward for them. And each one is on their own, yet somehow expect to end up at the same place at the same time, especially in a relationship. Once you decide to step into that arena together, yes, you are each on your own individual journeys. We know that. God has given each of us our own uniquely. But again, that communication, that connection must happen because that journey, those two walks that are happening side by side, need to be walked together. That communication window needs to remain open. If you're wanting to go here, you have to be willing to be truthful and honest about, this is where I want to go. If the partner doesn't want to go there, they have a choice to make. They can either stand aside and cheer you on and walk alongside while you do your thing, or they can say, I'm not going that way. But again, there's no reason for fear when you're speaking your truth and your honesty. But those that I see, and I see this all around, and that's the reason this conversation started. It was specifically for singles over 40. Because we've been there, we've done that. Things worked, things didn't work. We've got wisdom, we've got experience, we've got knowledge, all the things. And the piece is, you can have all these plans, but they may fall down in mid-flight. You know, I remember being told one time when I was building a business, one of my accountants had said, what you are doing is building an airplane while it's taking off a runway. And I'll never forget that, because that applies to a relationship as well. The moment you commit and you say you're all in and you're going for it, it's that airplane that's taken off, but it still needs built. You're still adding parts. You're still realizing that, oops, I put this part here, it doesn't fit, it doesn't go here. You need to restructure and redo things. You need to see what fits, what works more efficiently. So it's the same concept. But a lot of times we think relationships are supposed to just be easy and come natural, and they're like butterflies in the belly all the time. But I'm going to ask you this one question, especially if you're in that single bracket over 40. I'm sure there's been times you have followed that butterfly feeling in the belly. How well did that serve you? How well did that serve you? Many times we strive for that feeling. We want that emotion stirring in our tummies that feels like the butterflies. But how well has that served you in the past? Now, one thing I've come to realize recently in my own relationship is when you receive what God is giving you, and when you receive the gift that He lays before you, it provides everything you need, the butterflies come. The butterflies in the belly come, but they didn't lead you, or I should say, they didn't mislead you. So I want you to just really think of where you are in your life today. I'm here to open up those thoughts in your own mind tonight. That's all I'm here for tonight, is to just speak that truth and that honesty into you. What you choose to do with it, it's on you. It's on you. So that butterfly feeling, what does that mean anyway? Where does it come from for you? When you initially meet someone, what is it that you're looking for right off the bat? What is it that you want? What is it that tells you that, yes, this is a move forward, or no, this is, I've got to turn and go the other way? Do you know? Do you know? Many times through my coaching years of working with women through relationships, it was so easy for them to rattle off what they didn't want. They knew they didn't want this. They knew they didn't want that. They knew that this was out. No way they were going to do that again. We've got Tish on here. Hello, Tish. So it was so easy to state what they didn't want. But I would always brush that aside. And I'm like, but what do you really want? And they didn't know. They didn't know. When I was just like, what do you want? How detailed can you be? How clear can you see this? They couldn't. They couldn't. So my next question was, how on earth do you ever expect to recognize this when it's right in front of you if you don't even know what you're looking for? And that's what I want you to think about tonight in whatever it is that you're struggling with, because we all have those struggles. We all have those things within us that we wish were different, that we wish were better, that we wish we had. And I talk business and I talk life. I'm a businesswoman who's lived life. So I always like to apply these lessons to both aspects because they really do come together. But if you can't see what it is that you want, how do you ever know when it's right in front of you? And a lot of times you think, I will know. Those are those butterfly feelings that you feel will tell you. But that doesn't guide you. That only raises those little hairs on your neck that either say this is a good thing or a bad thing. But how many times have you ignored those? How many times have you known in your gut, this is not a good choice, and you go right into it anyway? How many times have you really felt strongly and positively about something, but you talked yourself right out of it because it almost looked too good to be true? These are things I want you to really consider, because most times when you feel stuck, when you say, I don't know what's next, I don't know where I'm going, you really do. You really have everything laid out there right in front of you. You're either just afraid to take that step forward, or you're worried that, again, that rejection is going to come. But how about that fear of, but what if it really works this time? What if this is really the right thing this time? Then what? Then what? We don't know how to handle that one because we're already preconditioned to be prepared for the letdowns. We're already preconditioned to be able to handle the disappointments because that's what life serves up, right? The hard times, the mistakes, the coulda, woulda, shouldas. So when you have this opportunity for something great right in front of you, how quickly are you to grab it? Or do you pause and talk yourself right out of it because of all the things that could go wrong? And I'm not here to put any kind of opinions on you. I'm not here to dig into wounds. I'm here to make you think tonight. I'm here to make you think tonight. One of the things that I've recognized in dealing with the 40s over, or the singles over 40, is they desire compatibility. They want those people that they just connect with and it vibes, right? They want that compatibility, yet the compromise is refused. People want that relationship, that partner, that, let's build together, let's do all of this. But when it's time for the compromise, oh yeah, they're not up for that part. They're not up for that part. And commitment, well, that's feared because of past hurts, past pains. I call those soul tattoos, those imprints that leave a mark on your spirit. And some of those will never go away. You will wear those, you will carry those every day of your life. But when you can honor them for what they are, when you can see the gift that they carry, the value that they've added to you, the experience and the wisdom that you now walk with because of those soul tattoos, when you can look at them differently, what is there to be afraid of? So when you desire that compatibility, how do you know you're compatible if you don't go back to the beginning where we talked about being truthful and honest? See, it's a cycle. It's a circle that repeats and repeats and repeats. And if you don't get that momentum going in the get-go, it's not going to build. It's like that snowball. And the snowball can be good or the snowball can be bad. If you start that relationship on solid ground with that little snowball of truth and honesty and respect and integrity and persistence and commitment, when you can start there and you build upon and build upon, look at the beautiful snowball you've built of all of that good stuff. But if you start one with that doubt, with that worry, do they mean what they say? Are they being truthful with me? Because last time I was hurt, last time I was lied to, all of these doubts, all of this fear, and you let that snowball, how is that going to serve you well? What are you going to do with that? How is that going to bring you joy? Where does God live in that snowball of negativity? And there's many, many people walking around with so much pain. They're carrying so much grief, so much heartache, so much sadness. And all they desire is that true love, that true companionship. We call that unconditional love. But you seek it from outside sources. You're seeking it through validation from other human beings. We don't have that for each other here, not in the capacity to provide healing. Only God has that. And for some people, that's the last place you look. You'll jump into this relationship, you'll jump into that relationship, you'll go from this person to that person. when truly the only one that can provide the unconditional love that brings the healing that you truly seek, that will help you in your relationships forward, comes from your God. Now, if you're new to me, you might not know who my God is. That's my grand overall designer. I don't talk religion. I don't care what you call it. It's that knowing that there's something bigger than you. It's that knowing that you were created through perfection and abundance, because that's the only two ways that God creates. That's my God, my grand overall designer. So you will hear me talk about my God. That's my main man. That's the source of eternal love. And until you feel worthy enough to receive it from your God, your the universe, higher energy, you call it, your Jesus, until you feel worthy to receive it from the source and are able to then provide it to yourself and recognize it for what it is, how on earth do you ever expect to recognize it when someone else is trying to give it to you? How on earth would you even be able to give it to someone if you don't possess it, if you don't feel worthy of receiving it? You can't. So tonight we're going into deep topics, simply messages that I know I am here to share tonight. We're going to get into some fun stuff as I prepare for a vacation. I'm going to talk about my relationship that came out of nowhere, but my God, he was in charge. He knew what was happening. But to everyone around me, it came out of nowhere because I was the one that said, no, I'm good. I have a plan. I know where I'm going. I like my life. I'm good on my own. I don't need nobody. And God said, watch what I can do. And the beauty of it is this showed up from 5,667 miles away. And I want to talk about that, because what would you do if you were faced in a situation that your heart was saying one thing, but everything in your mind was like, wait a minute, what is this? No way. This can't be. It's too good to be true. How would this ever work? I could have talked myself right out of it. And so could he have. But when you let God lead, when you let God provide what he knows you need, everything falls into place. So I hope you go grab a refresher on your drink, come on back, post some questions, because when we come back, we're going to dive into how did this work for me after all the lessons that God was sharing with me. And it would have been easy for me to just not see it and not receive it. Period. That would have been easy. We'll see you back in a few.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820.
Out of deck carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleburne, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store. They got you covered.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
All right, and we are back. We have a message here from Joco Community Radio. Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoco.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch, and the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more at jococommunityradio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844-TEX-HAIL. That's 844-839-4245. Be sure to dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com. Thank you so much for being here. All right, we are back and we are talking real relationships. I am Elena Rodriguez. I am your host tonight, and we are getting real and raw, talking respect, engage, ask, listen. And tonight is a special type of night. I am here simply to share messages that God is using me to get to you. So if you have found yourself in this space of feeling stuck, of feeling like you desire a relationship, you've been there, done that, you've been hurt time and time again, you're beginning to wonder, will it ever get better? Will the person ever show up in my life? Like, hey, I have that too. And then I became to that point where, no, I'm good. I'm fine on my own. I don't need anybody. I'm building my dream. I'm doing my thing. I'm good. Right? And then God threw boom right in my life and said, "You really think so? Because this is what I know you need." Did you hear that? He said, "This is what I know you need." If he would have asked me, I would have told him different. I would have said, "I don't need anything like that right now. I'm good." So how often has God tried to give you what you need? But because it doesn't always look like what you want, it doesn't always fit into your plan. It's not always, in the 5-year, goal list. How many times have you denied what God is giving you because he knows you need it, but it doesn't fit? It's not in your vision. So you miss it, you bypass it, and then you go back to praying on the thing that he really just gave you. I want you to think about that for a minute. So we have a question that came in while we were on break from Charles. He says, what happens when you think you found one, but never knew what unconditional is like? The feelings you never felt, but always prayed for. That's a good one, Charles. That's a good one, because that was me too. Number one, I've learned that unconditional love, we can put our label on that. We can put our definition around it. But God is truly the only one that can provide unconditional love in the capacity that it really stands for. We as human beings can give our version of unconditional love. And that means that we will stay committed, we will stay connected, we will stay present, we will stay in each other's lives no matter what. We will get through the disappointments. We will experience the joys. We will rise back up after the letdowns. We'll forgive each other because we know that there will be hurts that come. Like that's commitment. That's saying I am in this relationship unconditionally. But I'm a firm believer that true unconditional love really can only come through God. So to me, depending on beliefs, those have to align right off the bat. But if you've never received that unconditional love, if you've never felt that, you could almost push it away. Again, when I said earlier that sometimes those things that seem too good to be true, we then cut off ourselves. We allow it to fall apart before it has a chance to break apart and bring us down, depending on our own experiences. And I found myself in that boat many, many times. I would stop something before it had a chance to really get good, because if it got good, then that means it had the power to hurt me. I don't know if anyone else can resonate with that, but I knew if something felt good, if there, that I thought was a good thing could bring me joy, I would almost destroy it, self-destruct, because of my past, because of being hurt so much that I thought, I don't want to go there again. I don't want to go there again. So when someone doesn't know how to receive that unconditional love, keep giving it, keep giving it, keep showing it, keep sharing it, because eventually that little expectation of being let down won't carry any. It won't, because it will realize that with this person, that part's not coming. And eventually it will be able to be fully received. But in the beginning, just gotta keep giving it. Just gotta keep sharing it. Just gotta keep trying it. And eventually that past hurt that has kept that little gate, I don't call it a wall. I call it like a little gate. It's got a little hook on it. The door wants to slide open. It peeks open every now and then. And eventually it will remain open. It will know that this is a safe place. This is the person that walks the walk, talks the talk. This is what unconditional really looks like. This is what unconditional really feels like. And then it becomes safe. It becomes safe to say the truthful things. It becomes safe to say the honest things without fear of judgment, without fear of rejection, without fear of being told you're right, you're wrong, all of that. All of that. So we talk about that healed part. And when I bring up these topics, this came from a writing I did a year ago when I was being very observant of the relationships around me. With the relationships around me. At the time, I was good. I'm single. I'm solid. I don't want no businesses. I'm taking care of my kids, my home. Like, I am on fire. I'm good. I don't need nobody. So I would observe everyone around me. And I could observe what a hot mess relationships were, especially over 40. They're just a hot mess. And you would think that with age and experience and knowledge and wisdom, they would get better. But I was seeing something completely opposite. They were not better. They were a lot worse. There was like going into it with no hope. So it's like a game. And I thought, why? I don't want to play this game. I'm going to sit this one out. I don't want no part of this. So I began observing, because that's what I do. I'm a listener. I began observing. And so many people were talking about healed people. They need somebody healed. They don't need that project to fix. And I got to wondering, when you claim that you need somebody healed, are you fully healed yourself? How would you recognize the state of being healed in someone else? Do you know? And these are the things that I want you to think of. When you expect all of this from someone, are you clear on what that expectation looks like once it's fulfilled? Do you know what you're looking for? A big one on this is trust. You really come on from two sides of the coin on trust. You either give it freely, 100% front out the gate right away. And if it's broken or chipped down, then it is. But you're one that gives trust 100% right up front, right out the gate. Or you're one that feels trust needs to be earned. Now, there's no right or wrong. There's no one here to say that you need to be on this side or you need to be on that side. Remember, right or wrong is simply a term that you choose to place on something that you either agree or disagree with. That is it. Something that's right to you may be wrong to someone else. It's simply a label that you put on something you agree or disagree with. That determines your right or wrong. So I'm not here to say which side you are on is the right one or the wrong one. But I will ask you, if you are on the side that says trust needs to be earned, you're not able to give it freely up front. It needs to be earned. I want you to be able to answer this question. How do you know when it's been fully earned? At what level does someone need to get for you to wake up one morning and say, you did it? Today is the day that you earned my trust. How do you gauge it? When we talk that's working for something. It's an exchange. I give you this to get that. You're earning it. We can relate to that in work hours. I'm going to work this many hours to earn this much in wages. It's an exchange. But you know what you're exchanging. You know that if you want to earn this amount, you've got to work this many hours. You're aware of the exchange. But if you're going to put someone on the journey of having to earn trust, how long are they going to have to work for it? What are they going to have to do? How many boxes are going to need checked for you to be fulfilled and say, you've earned my trust. I trust you now 100%. And the thing here is that question can rarely be answered. Rarely are you able to say it's going to take 30 days or it's going to take this many nights of showing up consistently, night after night, same time. It's going to be calling me at the same time every day. Like what is it that's going to mark an earning? Because if you can't establish that and you're not the type to trust up front, then the position that you are putting the person that you claim to want to start a relationship with, the place that you are putting that person is a no-win situation. You're sending them on a wild goose chase. They don't even know what they're working for. They will get burnt out. That will turn into drama, chaos, arguments, resentment. And I want you to just think about that for a minute, because this is one of the most common pieces that pops up when I'm working with women and they're talking about relationships and they've been hurt in the past. That trust has been betrayed in the past. So they carry that betrayal into the new relationship they're trying to start forward. They're already afraid. They're already waiting for the letdown. They're already making that other person earn something that there's no gauge saying this is how much it's going to take to earn it. that relationship is doomed from the start. And I'm sorry to be the one to say that, but I am. That's an unrealistic expectation you are placing on someone. So what's it going to take to be healed yourself so that you can move into that position with trust and understand that no matter the outcome, God is already there. So what is there to fear? Do you see how this all ties into each other? This all circles back to the very beginning. In that very beginning, what everything points to is you. It's you. It's not the relationship. It's not the other person. It's not all the things, but it's you. However, it's easier to project outward the things that we're lacking. Those are the things that we pick up in other people, the things that make us feel uneasy, the things that we don't really enjoy, the things that, might give you that like little gut feeling that just doesn't feel right to you. It's those projections that are coming from yourself that you're not happy with. You're able to see those in other people. The things that you're like, oh, I don't like that about her. Well, do a mirror check. Those might be things within you that need fixed, that need worked on, that need attention. So when you're looking at this concept of starting a relationship, of getting into a new relationship, and you're already carrying all of this stuff, and you're wanting somebody that's already healed, are you sure that that's not simply a desire that you want to have peace and healing within your own spirit? Now, I can talk about this because it took me years to get to this place of peace in my life. It took me years. In 2018, it was Christmas Eve, and my husband had a heart attack and he died. And I thought that that was hard. I never expected at 44 years old, that I would be burying my husband that was only 49 years old. I never expected Christmas Eve 2018 to come home from a hospital as a widow. Never expected that. Now, I'm going to tell you that was painful. That was hard. Anybody that's lost a spouse already knows that that's excruciating. But I'm going to tell you the level of healing that I had to endure, because it wasn't until after he died, 9 months, in fact, 9 months after he died, that I discovered a 5-year affair that had been going on. And I don't share this to share the ugliness of affairs. I share this because that place of brokenness, that place of crushed self-esteem, confidence ripped to pieces, that place of disparity that says, what is wrong with me? Why wasn't I enough? That place that has you so ashamed you can't even look in the mirror. That's where I was. I wondered, what did I do wrong? Why wasn't I enough? You go through all this, but you see, I couldn't ask because he was dead. Because he was dead. So this place of destruction, everything in your life is blown up. I wondered, God, why did you have to show me this? Why did I have to discover this now, 9 months later? Why? And I know I've shared this before, and I'm going to share it again because it has changed my life. In that moment, God said, Elena, stop wasting precious time asking questions you know you will never receive answers to. So I want you to think about that for yourself. Because when God spoke that to me, it wasn't for me to keep. It changed my life, but I'm that vessel. I must share it. So how often do you find yourself wasting precious time, your precious minutes, the breath in your lungs, pondering and asking these questions again and again and again that you know darn well you will never receive answers to? God says, stop. Stop. Enough already. You want better? You want happiness? You want love? You want joy? Then stop with all of that. So when I talk about that journey of healing, we're talking 4 years. 4 years of rebuilding, of forgiving myself and others, of having to redesign what does hope look like? Because I had lost hope. I had lost any belief of anything good again. So how do you rebuild? How do you get there? And until you're able to be in that state of strength and peace, it would have been wrong of me to seek a relationship at that time, because I would have been a project, a broken burden for someone. So many people are out there looking for these people that are healed. They want healed people, but are you healed? Have you taken that time on yourself to mend all the broken pieces? Have you been strong enough to gather it all up yourself and piece it back together in the way that works for you, in a way that is beautiful to you? Have you done that? Have you done that? Charles is here. He says, truth, love, understanding, conversations. Raw and real is the foundation to unconditional. Yes. Yes. So when I looked around and I could see everybody throwing all this lash out, everybody talking about toxic, narcissistic, wanting some healed people. And it's like, but are you healed? Because when you come from that place of healing, when you're in that state of peace, you don't even have a desire to look at all of the brokenness, because all you see is beauty. Because you understand God's love. You understand unconditional. And there's something magical that happens in that space of surrender. It takes a lot to get you there. It takes a lot to get you to that state of surrender, that place where you fall to your knees and you say, I cannot take another step on my own. I have no idea how I'm going to do this. I don't see a way out. You feel so down deep in that well, that dark tunnel, that you can't even see a ray of light. You can't even feel a glimpse of hope. That's surrender. And that's when God's like, finally, now you can quit resisting so I can do my work. Think about that. Have you ever had a child that is throwing a tantrum? They are kicking and they are screaming and they are flailing their body and they're arching their back and they're throwing themselves all around, and you're trying to contain them. You're trying to pick them up and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to just like squeeze you right now. But they're like slipping out of your arms because they're moving all over the place. And it's like, you just finally have to walk away and be like, until you wear yourself out and get rid of this tantrum, then we can move forward. Sometimes we're the ones throwing the tantrum. We're the ones trying to fit a million places, a million things, and we're kicking and we're screaming and we're looking at all the complaining and all of the stuff. And until we finally get tired, until all of that energy just expends and we're like, okay, I give up. I've tried everything. I'm trying to move things my way. I'm trying to carry the world on my shoulders. I'm trying to solve all the problems. I'm trying to answer every question. I'm trying to be there for everyone. And until you're like, okay, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Are you able to begin to receive peace? Because once you stop that resistance, now God has a way in. Now God can say, okay, now let's get to work. Now let me show you what's next. Now are you ready to receive the blessings I have for you? So if you are in that state right now, if your life feels lonely, if your heart is hurting, if you feel like there is something wrong with you, why don't I have someone to enjoy this time with? Why don't I have someone to laugh with and love and touch and hug and all the things? Have you truly surrendered? Have you truly surrendered and then asked God, what is it that you feel I need? What is it that I'm missing? Because you might have your list of everything that you want. I wanted my business. I wanted my kids happy. I wanted my home taken care of. I wanted to go, 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 go. I did not want a relationship. Wasn't looking for one, didn't need one. And God said, oh, my child, you don't know the joy that I have for you. You don't know the love that I have for you. So I'm going to give you what you need. And that is the state that I am in today. I am happily in a relationship, but I wasn't looking for it. And I want you to be open to whatever it is that God says you need and step out of the way. Surrender. Allow His love and His peace and experience what unconditional truly means through your God. Thank you for tuning in this evening. I appreciate your time. I will see you back here next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. And you can also find me at Elena Rodriguez on Facebook. I appreciate you. Have a beautiful night, and we will talk again next week.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godly, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No.